Hey guys, sorry, technical issue there. My phone fell over. So, fab getting hearts already. For people that aren't sure of Periscope, if you tap the screen, it's just going to give me lots of hearts. And if you want to share with followers, slide up or left or right, and you can share to followers. Oh, thank you. It's good lighting. So, for those that are just joining us, I'm going to do a little Periscope on personal development tonight, all right? Now, I'm not very good with notes. Instead of notes, I've got like an essay. Can't see me. Can you hear me, guys? Because on my last Periscope, you couldn't hear me. Yes, you can hear me. Fantastic. Right then. I'm going to go through some things and I'm going to pause just in case there's any questions. But if we can leave the majority of the questions until the end, that will be fab, and we'll do a bit of like question and answering session, all right? So, a very wise woman once asked me what footballers, rugby players, athletes, dancers, etc., all have in common. What do they do day in, day out, week to week? What do they have in common? Anyone think of an answer? Let me have a look at this. So what do all those people have in? Exactly. They practice, they train, exactly the answers that I was looking for. And that's what personal development is about, all right? And so that's what this Periscope is going to be about. Yeah, they work together as a team as well, but they train and they practice, all right? So very briefly, if you look at what personal development is, it is if I'm looking over here, it's because my notes are right. It's a lifelong process. It's a way for people to assess their skills and qualities, consider their aims in life, and set goals in order to realise and maximise their potential. So the way I think about it, it's a bit like a rubber band, and I don't know if anyone's heard this analogy before. With personal development, you can stretch yourself and it can help to propel us forward. And, you know, forward into places that you can't even think of at this moment. But personal development is a journey. It's not just like a one-day thing or a one training thing. It's ongoing, all right. So we've got to be careful. I know. Will you do me a favour, Carly, and delete them for me? Because otherwise I'll lose track and go back to the beginning. So, yeah, it's like a lifelong thing. It's a journey. You can't just do it once and it's going to happen. So we've got to be careful that, like a rubber band, we don't get snapped back to the beginning, all right? So it takes consistency and it takes continued effort. So, for example, have you ever tried to make a new habit or break an old habit? It can be really easy to fall back into old ways, and that's what personal development is, you know, aiming to get you out of, all right? So again, it takes focus, dedication and determination. For personal development, your why for doing it has got to be massive. It's got to be big enough to make you want to do it, all right? You've got to have the motivation to do it. You've got to have the motivation to want to improve yourself. Now, for some people, that will come like from inspiration from other people and wanting to be not like them, but where they are. And for others, including myself, which I'll talk about in a minute, it can come from like a negative situation or a negative comment being said that wants to make you strive to push yourself, all right? And that's what I'm going to talk about in a little bit. Without a big enough why and without a big enough want to do personal development, you're not going to do it, all right? You're not going to get there. It's kind of like personal development without a why is like a rocket ship that hasn't got enough fuel in it, all right? Now, if you just had a little teeny why, like a rocket ship that only had a little bit of fuel, you take off and get so far, but then gravity would pull you back down to earth. And that's what personal development without a why, a big enough why, is like. Now, with a big enough why, you can burst through the atmosphere and you can just take off, you know, like they're saying the ship is your oyster. So in order to keep stretching ourselves, so going back to the rubber band analogy, we have to use goals to pull us forward to arrive in new places, all right? Now, those new places don't necessarily have to be physical. They're all about changes within yourself. So changes mentally, it can be physically as well, etc. But it doesn't have to be like a physical place. Now, I think it's most probably the same for a lot of people, but the most essential thing for me in personal development is where you, or how you look at the world and how you see yourself in the world. How you see yourself, or how we see ourselves, you know, as a person in the world, is what determines how we act in the world. So, you know, are you a victim or are you a winner? And I know, you know, that can be a big thing to struggle on, or to focus on, etc. You know, do you see yourself as self-confident or not? Do you see yourself as successful or not? How you view yourself will determine how you act, and therefore how you portray yourself in the world. Now, obviously, you know, this is a bit of a team training, so how you portray yourself, or how you think of yourself in business, is how you will portray yourself in business. But personal development isn't all about business. You can put it to like your personal life. So how you see yourself in a circle of friends, for example, is how you will then act in that circle of friends. So if you think you're like the quiet, retiring type, then that's how you'll come across to your friends. Does anyone have any questions so far? Just going to have a cup of tea. No questions? Fab. So for those of you that know me, when I joined Unique, my why, and my why to this day, is my daughter Seren. I want to stay at home and work from home and be with my daughter. I want to be the one that takes her to school and picks her up from school. And I know for a lot of people that work from home or have two jobs, that but their goal is to work from home eventually, that, you know, that's a massive goal, and that can be a massive why. Sorry guys, I'm just going to stick my hair up. So that can be a massive why, all right. Now, there we go, yours is, yeah. You know, for some people it's not going to be the same, and everybody's different, and that's absolutely fine. But that's my why, and it's such a massive why. It's what's kept me going forward. So when I joined Unique, thank you. When I joined Unique, I had a lot of friends tell me that I wouldn't be successful. Now, it wasn't just friends, it was family as well. And that was the biggest driving force to push me forward. Because, like, for family to tell me that I wasn't going to be successful was quite hurtful. So that was the negative situation that pushed me forward into personal development, all right. I wanted to prove them all wrong. I still do to this day. But I was fed up of allowing other people to guide how I felt. Thank you, lovely. And them telling me that I wasn't going to be successful before, I'd be like, oh, right, okay, I won't be successful. Kind of like, it's not that I wouldn't try, but because I had that in the back of my head, someone telling me, you're not going to be successful, before I would have gone, yeah, you know, I'm not going to be. But it was the turning point. It's what made me think, right, you know what? I am going to be successful and I am going to make this work. And that can go for any business, or anything, you know, in life, anything. Now, some people, you know, will have a similar experience. Some people will be a little bit different. Won't stop me and I want to prove them wrong. Exactly. Now, the same wise person that asked me what like football and rugby players have in common also advised me to read the book The Secret, and told me that it was going to be a life changer. Now, a friend of mine had already told me about it a few years ago, and I just kind of fobbed it off. I wasn't at the time ready to read it, and I understand that now. Exactly. Everybody knows who I'm talking about. That very wise person. Currently reading it now. And that wise person told me about it, and I tell my team about it. I've told my other half about it. I've told family about it. I tell everybody about it. So if you haven't read it, read it. Is it very different from Grow Pro? She is definitely. Yeah, film as well, or you can get like the audio version. It's different from GoPro because GoPro is very network orientated. I've got the book there. It's one of the books I was going to say about. Yes, we are. So it's about other things. It's about life in general, all right? So I knew that if I was going to change and if I was going to prove everybody wrong, I had to do something different. What I was doing before didn't work. I needed to do something different. So I read The Secret. That's what we've just been talking about. And it really has changed my life. Not just work-wise. It's changed the way I look at everything. And I'm not saying it's the only book for personal development. I'm going to talk about a few others. But it was the eye-opener for me. So, as everybody will know, the basis for personal development is working on yourself. And that's what I knew I had to do. And that's what I still try to do every day. I'm not saying, I've finished personal development and I'm there. I still have to work on it every single day. Still a long way to go. But since starting personal development, I feel as a person that I've changed a lot, and I feel as if I've grown a lot as a person. And as I just said, it's changed the way I look at everything. It's changed my outlook on everything, not just business, but like personal life as well. My attitude. I now try to find a positive in what can be seen as a negative situation. And for those that knew me before I started this, I would cling on to like negatives and be like, oh, there is no positive. But now I try to find a positive. Some days it's still quite hard, but my outlook now, and I try to tell my mum this, life is too short to be negative. Give examples. Thank you. I'm trying. An example that happened just a few weeks ago, went on a hen do, and somebody in the hen do didn't like another person on the hen do, and they were they made their feelings aware. And I was just saying to that person, life's too short. That person is that person. We don't all have to click with everybody. We will click with other people more than other people. So just like, it's hard to put into words, just my view on everything. And personal development is a massive reason for that. So it's about, I've fallen into so many on crutches, but I've taken it to my advantage. Exactly. Well, a personal example, there we go, for me. I had an accident 4 years ago, and I've now got some nerve damage, but we kind of brushed that off. It's, what will be, will be. It happened for a reason. It could be a lot worse, and things happen for a reason. And before, I never thought like that. So, yeah, there's always a positive and a negative situation, and I believe that things happen for a reason. Now, personal development isn't about being like somebody else or trying to be somebody else. That's not what personal development is about. It's about trying to be the best version of yourself that you can be. Exactly, glass half empty instead of glass half full instead of half empty. Exactly, yeah, that's the way. Couldn't get my brain around it. But yeah, being the best version of yourself that you can be. Not trying to be somebody's clone, but being the best version of you. Now, I know everybody, guess what, it's better to spend 15 minutes on your development than trying to get sales. Exactly, Kiz. And that's just what I was going to move on to say. It will help you massively in everything. And it's not until you actually do it and believe it that you will see the difference. Some people fob it off. And I did for a long time. But now, things are changing, not just for me personally, but in business as well. And I put that down to personal development. Now, I know everybody leads busy lives, whether you work full-time, you work part-time, you do like direct sales full-time, you've got family. I know everybody is busy, but if you want to change and be successful, whether it be in business or, be successful personally, for example, make new habits, break old habits, you've got to make personal development a priority. Are you still there, guys? Number one wins every time. Definitely. You still there? There we go. Just a few people that are fantastic. I think it must be their internet connection. So you've got to find the time. If it's a priority, you will find the time, all right? Now, there's lots of different ways that you can go into it. I've just got a few examples here. These are just the books that I picked up randomly that were closest to me. I've got GoPro. This was a massive book for me. How to Start Worrying and Start Living. That was massive for me. And again, a wise person recommended the person that wrote How to Make Friends and Influence People. And it's by the same author. So that one is a good one. How Social Networking Doubled My Business. These are directed if you do like, not all of them, but some if you're in network marketing. The Slight Edge is one that I haven't read just yet, but I've listened to the CD version. I'll pop a book list up afterwards, all right, guys? And you can find all the books on like Amazon or the internet, etc. But just to show you, it's not all in books. You can watch YouTube videos. You can listen to CDs like that one. A lot of the books now come in like CD version. I stick them on in the car because my daughter loves sleeping in the car. She prefers to sleep in the car than anywhere else. So we go for a little drive and I'll stick either like a CD on, or I can connect my phone to the car. I think a lot of people can do that now. And listen to YouTube videos playing through my car, which is a big one. And I'm a massive note taker. So you can see this is just like one of my books that's got notes in it. It's a new one actually, so it's not very full. Notes from the books. So if I haven't got the book to hand, I've always got this to hand. Post-it queen, they've just fallen on the floor. So I've always got stuff to go back to. There's podcasts, and one that wise person told me about today is something called TED Talks, and they're just free business talks. So if you find like there's going to be like I can't think of the word, like conferences and things like that as well. So you've got like books, CDs, DVDs, YouTube, podcasts, TED Talks. There's absolutely loads. You can do personal development. There's so many different sources for it. But your why has got to be the reason that you start, all right? But it's quite a big thing to say. GoPro Vegas, I know. Sorry, I get really, really excited about stuff that like people randomly comment. I'm mega excited about GoPro. If I can be in Vegas in December next year, I think it's December, I'm going to be there. So if anyone wants to come, I know there's a few people from the team that are planning on going as well. We can all go together. Yeah, that wise person was the one that told us about it. So, a little, quite quiet. Because of personal development, I now believe, which I didn't before, I believe that I can be successful. And I know that every single one of you can be successful too. You have just got to believe it, all right? The secret, not the book, but it does come across in the book. The secret to being successful is believing that you will be and that you are successful. Even if there's a shred of doubt that you think you're not going to be successful, you won't be successful. And if I can just take like 2 minutes, this is another book that I'm reading, Think and Grow Rich. It's even, it's in here. It's in loads of books. It just says, if you think you are beaten, you are. If you think you dare not, you don't. If you like to win, but you think you can't, it is almost certain you won't. If you think you'll lose, you're lost. For out of the world we find, success begins with a person's will. It's all in the state of mind. If you think you are outclassed, you are. If you've got to think high to rise, you've got to be sure of yourself before you can ever win a prize. Life's battles don't always go to the strongest or fastest man, but sooner or later the one who wins is the one who thinks he can. And I've got a post-it note on that one because I absolutely love that quote. So that's just out of another book. So, has anybody got any questions? My other half's knocking at the door now because he wants to come into the kitchen. Has anyone got any questions? Should we let him in? Should we let him in? If you come past, you're going to be on Periscope, so it's up to you.
No, I'm not.
Who's that man? I know. Is that all right with everybody? Any questions? I will post the link afterwards on my Facebook and in the groups.
Yahoo!
There you go. He's on a beer, I'm on a tea. So, behind what? Are you trying to scare me now? There's nobody there. So no questions. See, I prefer tea over Foster's. If you haven't got questions now that you can think of, if you've got any questions, then just send me a personal message or Facebook me, something like that, if you've got any questions. But have a fantastic night. I hope that was all right. It was my first official Periscope. But I hope you've all I hope you've all got something from that. I know I have, and I will speak to you soon. Does it help with recruiting? Definitely. It helps, as Kiz mentioned earlier, it helps with sales, it helps with recruiting, it helps with everything. If you believe you're going to be successful, if you believe you're going to get the recruits, you will get the recruits. And if your attitude changes, so that you portray the success that's happening, whether it be personal, whether it be on your success line, or whether it be in somebody else's success line, then it does, it all helps. And it kind of links into another Periscope that Zoe did the other day. I think it was Zoe, about attraction marketing. All kind of links in together. So if you believe you can do it, you will do it. So, with that, I will talk to you all soon. Bye, guys. I can't stop it. I never can. Guys, you might be here with me for a while. Stand up, Periscope. Thank you.